All right, so I am setting up my next frame after this one. So the creature recoils. He's getting more pale, right? I'm going to go ahead and say Command 0 for each of these so that they center. But remember, I have the guides on for assets, so I can always tell that I'm looking at the assets one. So that's my next frame. Is there anything else I need to do? I don't think I've changed the sky. So I'm going to roll the sky back one more. Okay, now I go through my animation workflow. Option, Layer, Merge Visible. Wait, I need to make sure I moved the mist. Yes, I moved the mist. So Option, Layer, Merge Visible. Command A to select it all. Command C to copy it all. Move my stage. Command V to paste in the next frame. All right. Now I go back to my assets. Command D to deselect and delete to clear the merged layer. I'm going to hit Command S to save that because I've gotten now to all the way through these two frames. And then I'm going to have him turning towards the camera and looking worried and scared and disheveled. So really I'm kind of getting there. I just need to turn him now. But I want to run the animation test first. So right now I actually have 9 frames. You can tell just because they number the layers. How do I run an animation test? You only do this when you want to see how the timing is working. And you only do it from the stage. You go to Window and you go to Timeline. I don't always have the timeline open because it can be really distracting. So then you're going to click on the timeline window options, which are in the upper right-hand corner of the timeline window. And you're going to make frames from your layers. Remember, when they're in the stage, they're animation frames. They're no longer layers. Then I like to keep that white one there, like the beginning of a film strip, where it counts down 3, 2, 1. This just reminds you that you're outputting an animation frame from your layers. And then I know that I can edit it. The way I edit it is not hitting delete, but by dragging it to the timeline's trash can. Now I need to edit these, because if I play them through like this, it's going to go way too fast. But look at that rolling fog. And that sky pulsing. So, timing, this is what makes it time-based media. You get to control how long the viewer gets to see each frame. So select them all just by clicking on the first one, holding down Shift, clicking on the last one, and then click on the timing underneath any of them. And as I'm testing, I usually use just a default timing. My preferred one generally is 0.3. It's roughly 3 frames per second. And then I play it. And then he comes in and he gets scared, right? All kind of makes sense. But I'm thinking it's just too direct. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build some additional assets. Because the whole point is to kind of follow your interest. And I know my transformation, I'm trying to get to it pretty quickly, is that his face is going to melt. So I need him to really feel scared, right? So instead of him just running right into something and then being scared, I want him to kind of go into the middle and then maybe look around a little bit, have a sense that something's wrong, and then look back and get pinched, right? So what did I just do? I had to take all my frames, select them all, and then drag them to the trash, right? And then I'm going to go to Window, Timeline, and turn it off. And now what I'm thinking is this is my last frame, but I want to make some in-betweens between here and here, right? I want him to actually kind of turn and look around. And I was just being lazy because I didn't want to turn him yet. So I'm not going to delete these frames. I'm still going to use them. But this is the next frame I'm going to animate after. So that's what's great about building your assets the way we did. I'm going to match that frame by setting up my assets. until it looks pretty similar, right? So I need to move the mist back. About to there. And it's going to be the next frame, so it'll be maybe about to here. And the sky, I think I'm pretty good. Organic things can change, so I'm going to put to there. Then my guy, this is where it really changes. So I'm going to build a new frame from here. So Command J, rasterize, because that's still the smart object. Now I need to start turning him. This is a little complex, but not impossible, right? So what can I do? Well, I can try Command T and distort and kind of stretching one way and the other, and then warping and pulling the center away. That's not, you can see it's kind of turning his head just by shrinking his ear. But what I really need to do is this. I need to make new assets for him. So his glasses and his eyes and his nose need to shift. So I'm going to select around that, and I'm going to duplicate it onto a new layer. So they look like this, right? Then I'm going to take the layer behind, and I'm going to erase those out. So I'm going to erase his eyes and his glasses. I'm going to leave his eyebrows because I think it would be funny if those stay in the same place. So how can I do that? I'm just going to paint. I'm just going to use a regular paintbrush, and I'm going to hold down Option and steal this skin color and then just paint it out at 100%. Remember, they're just pixels. That's why we rasterize it. If it's your vectors from your emoji, you want to rasterize it, right? And now I want to move those eyes and just warp or distort those. So push it this way. Cartoons are fun. Push it that way. How do you change? So you do that in the timeline. After you've said make frames from layers in the timeline, you'll see the 0 seconds underneath each one. So yeah, select them all, and then you can choose the timing for each one. And my default preferred timing is 0.3. All right, now this is a little tricky because I'm going to warp his eye, but I'm trying to shrink his glasses. Keep his nose kind of in level. All right, so I've got to clean up the face behind still, but you can see that the face is now turning. Oh, I can also clean up this side so that those glasses are a little bit more stable. Oh, but I need them to line up. So glasses are making this harder than I want it to be, but that's okay. Now when you warp, it does soften it. So if you wanted to sharpen it back up, you can actually use the filter for sharpen, and I use Smart Sharpen. And that can give you a nice cleanliness to it. All right, so now I got to clean up what remains underneath. Let me trim out with my lasso the hairline. Reveal that. There we go. And now here I got to get rid of stuff I don't want. And it's a GIF animation. It's screen resolution. You can be kind of sloppy if you need to. This isn't about making it print quality. This is going to go by in a fraction of a second. But it's an asset that if I take time with it, just to make sure I've gotten what I want from it, then I can use it over and over and over again. And then I'm going to delete from this side. I'm going to keep that eyebrow where it is. And then I'm going to use black, do my first kind of drawing in the class, like direct drawing. That's for a finished product. And I'm doing this pretty hard. My stroke is like 2 pixels. So I might have to type that in. Okay, and then let's do 3 pixels. And then I simply paint. With the side of the face. I'm going to keep his mouth where it is. I think it's kind of funny if he has a plastered expression. Okay. And then I just got to clean up little things. And I can do that with my lasso and delete. But I'm building assets to do something that you would think would be really simple, which is just turning the head. But when you think about animating that, there's actually quite a bit to it. So now I've gone from this to this, right? So he's just simply turning in place. And that's going to be my next frame. So I'm going to do Command 0, get it all on screen. So the mist is moving, the sky is changing. The sky changes a little too much. So I'm going to turn one of those back on. And I'm going to make the creature just twitch a little bit. So I'm not going to move him much. I'm just going to duplicate it. And then I'm just going to just pivot it just ever so much. All right. Now I got my next frame. So what do? Hold down Option, click on the topmost visible layer, hold down Option, go to Layer, Merge Visible. So I see the combined layer, Command A, Command C, Command V. And now it pasted it after my last layer, right, in the stage. It goes like that. And then, am I ready for this? Maybe. But maybe I can just take it a little bit further. So I go back to my assets and I'm going to say deselect and clear. And now, let's see, what's the next? I'm going to turn him some more, but I'll move the mist first. Just so slightly, because I'm fitting this between existing layers. So this is like coming up with in-betweens. Once you run your animation test and you think you can do more with it. Okay, now I'm going to take both of these assets and I'm going to duplicate them. And now I'm going to take this one and I'm going to try to turn the head. So I'm going to copy the head, or actually I'm going to do Command X. So I cut the head out and then Command V to paste it on a new layer. Now I got to make this kind of look like it turns. So I'm going to Command T it and I'm going to warp it, push it out on this side. Bring the forehead around, shrink the ear, bring the chin around.